and welcome back to The Oily Life. My name is Tanya and I like to share all things natural DIY related, so soap making, lotion bars, glow serums, anything like that. I like to use a lot of essential oils in all of my DIYs. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I hope you'll stick around and subscribe and become part of my community here on YouTube. So today we're going to be making a fall-inspired cold process soap. So I got my oils here ready to go, and I'll bring you in closer so you can see what we're doing. So in my container here I have all of my oils and butters that I've melted down, and to this container we're going to add in 4 ounces of pumpkin. Now when you are adding in something like pumpkin, you do want to make sure that you're getting a pure pumpkin. You don't want pumpkin pie filling because that has extra things in it. So you just want a pure pumpkin puree. And you can add small amounts of items like pumpkin, different milks, teas, cucumbers, things like that into your soap, because the pH of the soap keeps any sort of funguses or things like that from growing in it. So as long as you don't overdo the amount of whatever natural additive you're putting into your soap batter, it's perfectly safe and you don't need any sort of preservative or anything like that. And now that we got our pumpkin in, we're going to go ahead and add in our essential oil blend. We're using orange, clove, and cinnamon because those are some of my favorite fall scents. And I do have these dispersed in some kaolin clay. The kaolin clay just helps the essential oils anchor into the soap. All right. And now that we have all of those additives in, we're going to go ahead and add in our lye water. All right. And you can see that pumpkin gives it a nice orange color, and the orange essential oil will kind of help that along as well. All right, and that looks good there. I'm not going to blend it a ton because we are going to do some additional blending with the colors. Let's give it a little bit of a stir. Already looks nice and orange and creamy, perfect for fall. You still will have some little specks from the pumpkin. Those won't all blend out, but I think they give kind of a texture to the soap. There we go. And then this soap is going to have a brown base with 3 accent colors. The first accent color is Alpine Green from Nurture Soap. Then we have a combination of Queen of Hearts and Firecracker, also from Nurture. And then Maya Gold, and that's from Nurture as well. Mostly I use micas from Nurture Soap and from Mad Micas. A little more in this one. There we go. Get these off to the side for now. And then in our main container here, we're going to use Mocha Brown from Nurture. I'm just going to pour that directly in and then give it a whisk. And basically now it looks like chocolate. Of course, we cannot eat this since it's soap, but it does inspire all those kind of fall bakery scents, which I really like. I'll get some of this batter down from the top. All right, so that's how we're looking there. I'm just gonna set that to the side and get started on our accent colors. And I'm just gonna whisk each of these in because I want them to be a little bit fluid. We're gonna do a hanger swirl, so they will get combined regardless, but it does help if they're not super thick. Might need to add in a little more to this green. And your greens will turn kind of funky colors, so just expect that. They turn back after your soap saponifies, but as you can see, they can look a little gross in the initial process. Now it looks better. There you can see. Just needed a little more green in there. I'm really picking up the orange with just that hint of cinnamon, which is really nice, and clove. And there's what that Maya gold looks like. It's a little bit more of a muted gold. It's not super bright like the shimmering gold. There. All right. And then we are going to do a hanger swirl today. So I'm just going to grab my mold and we'll start getting our batter in. And it definitely has started to thicken up. The pumpkin will do that. But if you give it a stir, usually you can get it to loosen up. All right, let's get this in. And get some of our green in. I do wish, this is the tall and skinny mold from Nurture. I wish it was just a smidgy wider. Next we'll get our gold in, and since I'm kind of having to spoon this in instead of pour it, I will have to give it a pretty good tap down just to make sure there's not a ton of air pockets in it. And then finally our red, and then we'll put our last layer of the brown on top. All right, so now that I have everything tapped down really well, I'm just gonna finish emptying out my containers onto the top, and then we're gonna do a swirl. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead before we swirl or do anything else and run our hanger through. It is pretty thick at this point, so we will see what we end up with here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna spritz the top with some rubbing alcohol, add a little gold glitter, and then I'll bring you in for a close-up. All right, now we are back to cut my Autumn Harvest soap. Just gonna get rid of the end piece here. It was a little rough on the ends, but that is okay. Really loving how the colors came out. Very fall, in my opinion. Smells wonderful. You definitely get all of that orange and the cinnamon and the clove. A little focus there. So I wasn't really sure how this one was gonna turn out because it did get thick on me really quick. I've made this recipe before and it didn't do that last time, so not quite sure what the difference was. Got some fun swirls on this side. But yes, definitely got thick, so I was expecting to have a whole lot of air pockets, but they don't seem too bad. I got a couple on the sides, but so far nothing overly horrible. But definitely loving the smell. Now the brown is not as deep as I was hoping it would be. It might darken up a little bit, but I was hoping it would be a little bit darker than it is. But that is okay. There we go. And also, another issue that I had with this soap, soaping doesn't always go according to plan. And you kind of just have to roll with the punches. And I've been making soap for a super long time, but I almost forgot to put the hanger in, which there would be not much of a design in the soap without the hanger swirl, but I'm sure you'll notice in the video, I started to put my colors on the top and I hadn't run the hanger through yet, so then I had to go through and run the hanger. But still turned out well, so happy to see that. It's just one of those things, you never know. And you know, I've been making soap for years, and just sometimes when you get going, you just get distracted for that moment and forget what you're doing. I'm sure that happens to everyone. And you kind of have a what the F moment. Or at least I do. That is for sure. But in the end, you just got to keep going, and typically it ends up turning out okay. Which I think this one did. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you got a little fall inspiration for yourself, and that you give a fall inspired soap a try. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.